MPS have criticized the UK government for underestimating the growth of Russia's Wagner mercenary group over the past decade. In a scathing report, the Foreign Affairs Committee says the government displayed a dismal lack of understanding of Wagner's hold beyond Europe. Let's get more now from our security correspondent Frank Gardner. Frank, this was quite a scathing report. Remarkably complacent, a dismal lack of understanding, lacking any coherent strategy. These are phrases that crop up in this report. It's pretty excoriating. It's saying that essentially the government's been asleep at the wheel when it comes to the Wagner Group, particularly its activities in Africa, where it has effectively pushed out not only Western forces but Western influence and a number of posts, mostly whose French colonial countries. And it's saying that as far back as 2016, there should have been a task force formed to monitor the activities of the Wagner Group. But just let's remind ourselves who they are. This is a very kind of shadowy group of mercenaries. It was formed back in 2014 by former Russian special forces and regular serving soldiers. They were instrumental in the taking over of Crimea. They've since been active in as well as Ukraine, in Syria, and 5 African countries: Libya, Mozambique, Mali, Central African Republic, and Sudan. And they've got a very effective business model for them, but to the detriment of the populations. They're essentially teaming up. They operate almost like a kind of mafia network, teaming up with governments that cooperate with them, and in exchange for providing pretty brutal, oppressive security services to those governments, they get mineral rights, golds, diamonds, etc., which are effectively plundering those countries. And this report is saying UK should have done a lot more. It should have providing alternatives to those countries so that they don't have to go seeking help from the bargaining group. Is it fair to say, though, that the UK is possibly not the only country that estimated Wagner? Some might say with recent events, even Russia underestimated what the Wagner Group is capable of, considering the mutiny that happened there. Yes, I mean, I think the Kremlin has created a monster here which is having trouble trying to work out how it can control. That's exactly right. I mean, for a long time, the Kremlin denied any kind of connection with the Wagner Group. Its leader even sued fellow journalists of mine for accusing him of being its leader. But he is the leader of the Wagner Group. I mean, it's just extraordinary. However reasonably he was able to lie over that. But they've become extremely rich. These are serious mineral resources, and I think you're absolutely right. I mean, take Mali for example, where there been a succession of coups, and in the most recent one the government decided it no longer wanted the French there. It was going to have the Russians instead. And what this report has got, they've got hold of a Wagner defector, effectively, who has given them chapter and verse on their motorcycle brando of how did they work in Africa summits. Pretty chilling stuff, actually, he said. We showed them how to torture. We taught in the Central African Republic people. How to torture civilians. Which is pretty chilling stuff, so. You know this is I think quite embarrassing. I try to get a hold of the government for an office for a response, but I didn't get one. Frank, thank you so much. Frank Gardner, our security correspondent there.